Should you consider the UK or Ireland as a foreign entrepreneur? Hello everybody, I hope you're well. This is Sohrab Vazir, and today I'm going to do a comparison between the UK's Innovator Founder Visa and Ireland's Startup Visa, which is officially known as the Startup Entrepreneur Program. I'm going to use three key factors to do this comparison, which, based on my knowledge and from what I've gathered, is probably the most important ones to migrant entrepreneurs. So let's get into it. The three criteria that I'm going to use is the permission of secondary employment, the amount of investment required, and the path to settlement. So let's get into it. Now, first and foremost with employment, the UK wins on this one, as the UK Innovator Founder Visa does permit secondary employment at a skilled level. So you're actually allowed to get a job as you work on your startup. Although Ireland does not allow any form of other employment, and you need to focus on the business full time. So you're not allowed to get a job. Although please don't use that as your main motivation to just get the visa and then get a job and then think, okay, what am I going to do next? That's not a good strategy at all. You really need to be a genuine entrepreneur for either of these visas. So that's number one. Number two, investment. Now, I'm going to start with the Irish one. So the Startup Entrepreneur Program, you need to have access to a minimum of 50,000 euros. The UK, you don't. On paper, you don't. Okay, so however, there is a few more things and tricks to this. For the UK Innovator Founder Visa, you need to forecast the expenses for your business for the next 3 years and the setup costs. Okay, and you need to show that you have access to that money. However that may be, it may not necessarily be 50,000, but if you're trying to build probably a high-tech startup or something of that nature, you're gonna need that kind of the same level of investment. So I would say anywhere between 20 to 50,000 pounds is the normal costs of building an innovative business, especially in tech. I mean, it's the bare minimum, to be honest. So don't think that, okay, the UK, you don't need to have any form of investment money. You may not, on the abstract, but actually when you go into the process, you will realize that you do. So you're still gonna need some investment funds. And lastly, we're talking about settlement, okay? And the paths provided to settlement. Okay, so before I go to the comparison, let me just say that I can sympathize with anyone who wants to obtain that settlement faster, because it's just, and this is based on my own experience. I settled in the UK on business visas. It's just very stressful to be an entrepreneur and also be subject to immigration rules. I've always said that, these two things, rigid immigration milestones or rules and being an entrepreneur, they can be incompatible in many cases. But anyways, let's get into it. So the UK probably has the advantage on this one. And that's because after 3 years, you do have the option of settling. There's 5 criteria that you need to meet. I'm not gonna go through each one here because it's not really the purpose of this video, but I will mention 2 of them, which is what most people rely on. And one is making an investment of £50,000. And second is that the number of customers for your product or service has doubled that of other companies providing similar ones in the market. So that's usually the criteria that most applicants rely on. The third one is, just for the sake of it, is actually applying for IP and engaging in R&D, which many are not able to do. So and by IP, I mean patent, not a trademark. So there's the UK. With Ireland, it's a bit trickier. So initially you get a permit of 2 years, and then you will need to renew that permit, which will be granted for a further 3 years. But that renewal, even though it's not strictly subjected to this right away, but in Ireland, in order to qualify for the program from the beginning, your startup needs to be on a scale of, being able to generate around €1 million in sales within 3 years, and also creating 10 full-time jobs. So even though your initial permit expires after 2 years, so it's not year 3, in year 2, you should be well on your way to meeting that. So with this one, it's really up to the applicant and their company, because each company is different. Maybe you will be able to achieve that in 2 years, maybe you won't. So that one is very subjective, I would say. And that's it, really. If you have any questions, or if you need help, any business help with any of these, feel free to get in touch with me and I'll be more than happy to help. Thanks for watching.